Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wiregrass Haunts. I'm your host, Stan Fikes, and I have with me tonight my awesome co-host, Miss Trista Yates. Are you there, Trista?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Awesome. Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, how was your day?
Today was work, and then errands. It's not horrible. It could be worse. It could always be worse, but it's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. My day was extremely long. Started at 4:00 this morning.
Uh-huh.
My new position is kicking my butt, y'all. But that's okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm really going to find out how much it's worth whenever we go to our investigation on Wednesday night, and I have to be at work at 6 a.m. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be crazy. Sorry, y'all. That was my wife's cell phone. She's texting in the other room. So I do apologize for that. Well, everybody, we have a great show for you tonight. We have Mr. Jack Kenna from Haunted Case Files with us. Awesome guest. So we're going to have a great show. Normally we do a giveaway. Like last week we gave away some tickets to a Paracon, Mid-South Paracon to be exact. This week we're not going to have a trivia. We're not going to have a giveaway. That's going to be in 2 weeks, May 29th. We're going to give the other pair of tickets away. So everybody make sure they tune in because Louisville ghost hunters are going to be on the show. So everybody needs to come in and listen to these guys. They're great. Well, without further ado, Trista, if you don't have anything to say, we'll go ahead and bring in Jack.
No, we can go ahead and talk to Mr. Jack.
Let's do that because I'm ready. Mr. Jack, Are you there?
I am here. How you guys
Awesome.
doing? And thank you for having me on your show tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
We have been stoked all week prepared.
Real.
Yeah, so we're
it's an honor to be on your show.
So forgive us if we babble a lot, but
that's all right. Wait till I get going. You ain't gonna get a word in edgewise. I'll tell you that right now.
Honestly, that kind of makes our job a little easier.
Right?
Hey, I gotta see. I'm already gonna take over. I heard your announcement about your giveaway coming up. What, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna one up your giveaway. Okay. I'm gonna send you a signed copy of my book to give away with whoever gets those tickets to.
Hey, I want to
awesome. That'll be great.
How's that? Is that however you want to do it? We'll add them to the giveaway.
Yes, we will definitely add it to the giveaway for sure.
Right. I will mail that out to you this week. When we're done with the show, just give me your mailing address, and I'll get that out to you this week.
That is so
okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
No problem. Hey, I'm this kind of guy I am. When I can help out, I help out.
That's cool. So how's everything going with you, Jack? Are you filming, or what are you up to?
We finished filming about a month ago for season 2 of Haunted Case Files. We were up in Canada for that. Probably some of the people saw those posts and stuff. Had a great time up there. I was up there with two of my team members two of my team leaders, I should say, or team founders from 2 different teams. My Spirits of New England team, which was Ellen McNeil. I finally dragged Ellen up there. She was very nervous about going to be on the show, even though she's a team founder and stuff like that. I said, Ellen, you're the team founder. You really need to be on the show. And she's like, no, you're the face of it. She was nervous as heck, but she did a fantastic job. I mean, once she got in there, the crew got her calmed down and stuff, because it's a nervous thing. You never did it. You're sitting in front of a small camera crew. There's about 5 or 6 people there. But if you've never done it, it can be nerve-wracking. And she was obviously she did. Once she got going with it, she fell right into place. She did an awesome job. And then Stacy Horton from Extreme Paranormal Encounter Response Team that I'm part of down here in the New York area. She did one story with me that I was involved with an investigation they did. So we got that one story on, and Stacy again, like Ellen, did a fantastic job. They're going to be really interesting shows. I can't tell you much about them. For some maybe people who are local listeners here in the Rensselaer, New York area, the story with Stacy is about a location over in Troy, New York. And some of our other locations are throughout New England and Connecticut, Massachusetts, stuff like that. So we've got six episodes that we did, 6 different stories, and it should turn out really great, like the company always does. Our House Media is a company; they always do a great job, and they're always fun to work with. And I'm looking forward to working with them again, coming up hopefully soon. But we never know. They call me and they go, "Jack, can you do this?" And I go, "Yeah, sure, why not?" We don't get paid a lot or anything like that, but it does help us reach out to people, and that's a big reason why I do it, is to be able to reach out to people. People contact me and our teams a lot more now, looking for answers, which is really what I do it for. And we try to help them. Try to give them those answers and try to help them figure out if they're having a haunting or what's going on. Or some people just want to know about their own psychic abilities. Do they have something or not? Or who should they talk to? How can they find out more? And I always take time to talk to anybody who contacts me. And that's what the show has been able to do for me and our teams, as far as I'm concerned. Money, they don't pay that much anyway, but I don't really care. We have a good time. We have a good time, and we accomplish a lot of stuff because of the shows. So, I told you I talk a lot.
That's one of the main reasons that we do what we do with our investigations, is just to help people. We don't charge anything. Nope. It's just to kind of get out there.
Right. That's exactly it. Yeah, we don't charge anything for what we do, and we do soup to nuts. I mean, we help the people not only just, okay, yeah, there's something going on in your home. Here it is. Here's your information. Goodbye. We don't do that. We stay and we try to help them through it all and work through it and help, calm the activity if that's what they want, or, if they want to try to get rid of something. And sometimes you run into something you can't get rid of, and you've got to just, work at dealing with it, and that takes much more long term. So, we've got some clients we've been working with for over a couple of years now, that we keep going back to and keep kind of helping out, or just give them advice and teach them things to do that they can do on their own too, to keep that activity down. So.
Yeah, that's when we started our group, Web Paranormal Group. My wife and I and a couple of other founders, Miss Shawana Coleman and Christopher Wood. That's one thing that we decided on, that we were definitely going to do. We stick with our clients until the end, until they tell us, "Hey, we're okay. We've had enough," or whatever the response is. And
right.
Yeah, we're still working with some that we've done, and that's just part of what we do, and I just applaud other groups that does the same thing, because it can be hard. I mean, just kind of hanging in there for the family, and even if they just want to talk.
Yeah, that's just it. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of dedication. You got to enjoy doing it. It's not for everybody who gets into the paranormal, that's for sure. Working with residential cases and homeowners and families and stuff like that, it's just not for everybody. And that's why I think you get the groups that are out there that just are trying to prove the existence of the afterlife, and that's a good thing too. Nothing wrong with that either. And that's I have a new book coming out, which you guys probably have heard about. It's called Paranormal Research, Comprehensive Guide to Building a Strong Team, which I actually got my advanced copy last week. It'll be hitting the shelves like Barnes & Noble and other stores and online in about 6 weeks. And that talks about all that, about, working with clients, if that's what you decide to do, building your team, who does what on the team, and how to, let people be a part of the team based on their their strong points, not necessarily on, oh, I want to be the team leader. Don't put the ego aside and pick out the people who have the strengths in the areas that you need them. And we've done that with our own team. I mean, every time we go on an investigation, Ellen McNeil and Beck Gann are the team founders, but on every investigation, I'm the team leader, just because then they decided that. And it's like, Jack, you know how to do it. Well, I lead teams. I also work for the Department of Defense, and I led engineering teams. Okay, I'm a technician, and it was very unusual to have a technician leading engineers. Okay, and it runs into its own issues as well, but we always got along. We always got things done, and I just knew how to organize things well. And that's why they said, look, you're the best at organizing us and keeping us moving, so you go ahead and do it. But Ellen's very good with working with the clients and being able to get them to tell you more than they really want to tell you, in a nice way. Sometimes she holds them down and beats them, but Only kidding. We don't do that. But you got to sort that out. So this book talks about all that. It talks about investigation techniques, the equipment in layman's terms, what it's designed for, what we use it for, how to best use it. And we talk about some of our actual investigations, what actually happened, what we actually did, and what there's some insights from each investigator on each one of the investigations. So it's like their take on it, what they got out of it, what it meant to them, and what they feel we accomplished with it. So it's a little bit different book than you may have seen with most that talk about how to investigate and all that. So I try to keep it fun. I try to write like I talk. Okay, so I make a joke here or there, and then things like that. So I try to keep it light so people will stay engaged and get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that book is coming up. And then I've also got Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons out right now. That's on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. And that's selling really well. And interestingly enough, people are getting investigation techniques out of that book. And that's a semi-fictional book. But I did put real investigation techniques that our team uses into it. So, that's another book people can check out too. And that's feedback right from the paranormal community. It's like, hey, Jack, I've learned some investigation techniques out of this. Like, oh, really? Interesting. That was not the intent, but okay.
Well, I'm currently reading that book. In fact, I have a copy of it in front of me right now.
Oh, awesome! That's the one I'm going to send you the signed copy of, because I got copies of that one right now. If I do get the other, I won't be getting the other book in time to send you that one for your thing, but I'll send you a signed copy of Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons for your giveaway there.
That would be great. Yeah. Fact,
so you're reading it. You're reading it right now.
Yeah, actually, in fact, I was reading it just prior to the show, and it's one of those books that you can't put down once you start. In fact, Teresa, she kind of nudged me and she says, "Hey, the show." Oh yeah, that's right.
Thank you for saying that, Stan. A lot of people have been saying that. As a writer, as me, it's like, yeah, come on, really, you can't put it down. They're like, no, really, you want to keep going because it keeps your interest, which is how I tried to write the stories, make them fun. Make them interesting, keep people engaged in it, and they are semi-fictional. There's 2 stories that are complete fiction, but they involve real things that happen on different investigations and stuff. So all that's there. And actually, in the first 4 stories, I don't know where you are, but if you check out our website, you'll find the actual evidence from those first 4 stories on our website. The EVPs and some of the what was the actual real stuff, some video footage, stuff like that. So you can go on our website and actually review the real evidence that's involved with those first 4 cases. So it's kind of interesting.
Awesome. Cool.
In
fact, I'm writing that down. So
I think I mentioned it in the book, by the way, but But I hear you. So, I write it down too.
Yeah, that's cool. So what made you want to get into doing this the way you do and that type of thing? I mean, did it just happen overnight, or have you always had an interest in this?
Well, I mean, I've always been interested in the horror movies, the paranormal stuff. My mother had a lot of experiences when she was growing up and in her 20s and things like that, saw things, experienced things. And she used to tell me about it all the time. She used to talk about it. And even she experienced these things in her own home growing up over in Troy. And we just used to talk about it, and I always found an interest in it. And I had some experiences myself in my home growing up where I'd hear my mother calling me. And this is like I was 5, 6 years old. I hear her calling me, and I'd get up and say, "Mom, what do you want?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" "Well, you just called me." Like, "No, I didn't call you." She might be down in the basement, doing laundry, or she was outside in the garden. I'm in the house. And yeah, I'd like, "No, you called me. You just called me from the other room." She goes, "Nope. No, it wasn't me." So turns out I found out many years later through a good psychic friend of mine, it's my grandmother on my mother's side. And she would call my name and just, get my attention for whatever reasons and kind of watching over me kind of thing. So that's kind of who's here in my house still to this day. And other people have had the same thing happen to them. They hear their name called by somebody they know that's alive, but that person's not here, or it wasn't them, so it kind of freaks people out a little bit still too. But it even happened to my kids growing up in this house. They'd say, "Dad, I heard you were calling me." Like, "Nope, wasn't me, but that's okay. I think I know who it was, so don't worry about it. And it's loud and clear. I mean, you can't mistake it. It's not like whispery. It's loud and clear, like somebody calling you. So it's kind of interesting, and it's nice to know you got people watching you. So, but yeah, I've been interested all my life, and then I kind of got away from it all for a long time. Actually, in that book that you're reading, Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons, you will, in the back of the book is my very first kind of investigation, which didn't involve equipment or anybody else. It was me checking out something at my mother's home in Troy, because my mother's family lived there all their lives. When finally the last sister passed away, we went over there to take care of some things, and something happened there. But you can read that later on in there. And it was very interesting, and it didn't involve any equipment or anything else. Just me trying to check something out and figure out what was going on. So it was kind of cool. That was my first, I guess, real investigation. I was in my 20s at the time. And then, like I said, I got away from it, raising family, doing all kinds of other things, got into, working for a living, all that stuff. And then, of course, the Ghost Hunters came on, and of course, that piqued my interest again. And I got on the, what they called at the time, the Beyond Reality Forum, which was set up by those guys. And I met my team, Spirits in New England, there. And we went to an event together, and we met, and they invited me to join their team, and that was kind of where it all began. That was back in 2009. And it's just been one wild ride ever since. So, went from just learning to, investigating and doing some things ourselves and all that. And the next thing we know, we're ended up on TV somehow. I don't even know how that totally really happened, but, it happened. Wasn't really looking for it. I got an email. We get tons of emails all the time from places. "Oh, we're having a new show." But this email we got seemed genuine. So I called up the number. I checked out their website, and it's like, wow, this place really makes reality TV shows. And they're up in Canada, called Our House Media. And I called them up. I talked to the person there for 2 hours, and they answered all my questions. And then I answered their questions. And then they asked me if I wanted to do it, and we worked that out. We found a couple who wanted to tell their story, and the next thing we know, we're on Paranormal Survivor Season 1. That was the first paranormal show Our House Media ever did. And they did a really nice job telling the couple's story, and went really well. We had a lot of fun doing it. So it was good, and then we've just been back with them ever since. So because of an email.
Wow.
Because I responded to an email. You know.
Blasted things, right?
Yeah, you never know how it's going to happen, and we were really looking for it. Not really, but we just we'll call them, see what's going on, see what happens, and that was the attitude we still even take today. It's like, if they call me back, they call me back. If they don't, it's been good. They're good people. We enjoy them, and I try to, if other teams are interested in trying to get on the show, I hook them up with them up there to see if they have stories that are of interest to, the company for the shows. Because ultimately they make the decision. The company makes a decision of if the story's of interest or not, and all that type of stuff. So, and it's like everything else. They all want everything that's like, terrible and demonic and this and that and blah 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 blah. But the interesting thing is, most of my stories aren't like that. And they find it interesting because they're like, I was just talking to the producer the other day, and just through email, and he's like, "Hey, Jackie, I gotta say, your stories are some of the most interesting we get." He goes, seriously, he goes, and they're not always evil, or sometimes, you're helping the spirit out and stuff like that. I said, yeah. I said, I told you guys before, it doesn't have to be scary to me or to you to sell, because some of the feedback they get is those are some of the more interesting stories, like where we end up helping out a spirit, things like that. So people are taking, and that tells me people who watch these shows or who are in the paranormal are taking a different perspective on these shows more and more, and it doesn't always have to be something demonic to get people's attention, or to get their interest.
Right. So you're saying that you don't have the people don't have to be possessed every other episode in order to be interesting.
Exactly. Although I did have a couple of this season, but that just happened to be what happened, and and those are rare, but few and far between. But it did happen, and so there's a couple of our stories talk about things like that, but most of them really don't. They're just about what happens to somebody, or what a family's dealing with, or sometimes family may think one thing, and what I think really happens with spirits is sometimes they seem evil or demonic because they may be desperate to get somebody's attention, and desperation can drive you to do some crazy things, right? Even you got to think of them. Some are still just people, right? They were people. They're still who their consciousness was, so they're still them. They just don't have a body anymore. And if they don't know what happened to them, they may be desperate to get somebody's attention. So desperate people do desperate things, right? So,
Right.
And that's one of my perspectives on things. Be careful of what you think it is. Just because you got scratched or you got bruised doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. We got to sort that out. We have to figure that out, right? And that's why people call us in to try to sort it out.
Right.
And it may be just desperate to get somebody's attention,
Right.
which can make it do things that maybe normally wouldn't do, right? And sometimes you can figure that out by just talking to whatever spirit is there, and they, now they've got somebody listening to them who knows how to listen to them or how to talk to them, at least better than the person who's being haunted, and you can sort things out from there and make it better for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I try to go into these investigations with the thoughts that we're not only there to help the client, but also the spirits as much as we can. I mean, of course, you have to get to where you can investigate and understand the spirits too. So you're absolutely right. I mean, that's spot on.
Yeah. I mean, I go into them. I mean, truthfully, I go into any potential haunting of or I don't even know if there's really a haunting going on. I'm going to go in there and just see what's happening. They can tell me everything, and I don't disbelieve them, but I have to reserve that judgment until I'm there. And I tell them that. I said, look, I'm not there. I don't know what's happening. I'm not living it every day like you are. And I will tell them some things seem very odd. Like not normal, but let me get there and try to figure out what's really going on, and that's what you got to do too. I mean, if there's people out there who say, well, I'm a skeptical believer. No, I'll tell you, I'm a believer. I know there's something after this life. There's an afterlife. We have a soul. We all have souls. We move on to something else. But I can be skeptical, or at least hold my judgment and going into a case until I've gone in there and seen or experienced or whatever, found out what's going on for myself. Because you could have a haunting, but not everything is paranormal that's going on. So, but people who are experiencing that are scared to death half the time, and they're confused. They don't know what's going on. So every little thing that happens is related to the ghost, right? And the glass fell off the counter and broke. The ghost must have done it. No, not necessarily.
Right.
So you got to go in and help them sort through it, and so that's why I reserve judgment, I guess, on what's really going on until we get there.
Right. Yeah, we ran into a couple of things like that one time with an investigation, and they swore up and down that there was all kinds of demons running through the house that was knocking all the stuff off and stuff. And we determined that it was because they lived close to a major highway, that it was tractor-trailer trucks that were driving by. You could feel the whole place vibrate when they go by.
Yeah, it's shaking everything like crazy. Things are slowly vibrating off the shelves. Yeah.
We were doing an EVP session, and I was doing it live, and I had the headset on, and I had to remove my headset. It was so loud of the trucks going by, and I'm like, whoa, we need to back up. And so we had a little team meeting outside, and honestly speaking, we never found anything that I would have related paranormal at all with the situation, other than maybe something they were creating within, with them themselves. And so that was one of those ones we put.
Yeah. Well, people can conjure things without realizing they're conjuring it. Just sometimes your own energy can create things to happen, especially if it's a lot of negative energy. You can create strange things that are what they call thought forms. So, and they take on a kind of a life of their own, but they're not necessarily a ghost.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because there are doctors that, there are women who want to be pregnant so badly that their body actually believes that they are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can pretty much conjure anything if you're not careful.
Yeah, I mean, we get, as living beings, we have a lot of energy, and we can do a lot of things we don't think we can, that we don't even realize we can. It's all a matter of energy and a mindset, and like I said, a woman can believe so much that she's pregnant or want to be pregnant so bad that she gets the symptoms of it,
Right.
And it doesn't mean she is, but she can get the symptoms of it. And those are psychological issues, and you deal a lot with that with cases and stuff too. I know, like we have an 11-page form we send out for people to fill out. And actually, that's in my book that's coming out too, Paranormal Research. That form is in there. It's something anybody can use. We didn't create it. We got it from actually the TAPS team. We modified it for our purposes, but everybody kind of shares it around, But it is good when you're dealing with residential cases. One thing we require is that form to be filled out before we can go and investigate. And it can give you a lot of information. It covers everything. Medications, mental health, just really what are you experiencing? What is going on? Check boxes for, shadow figures or, odd smells, things like that. And there's, spots there for them to give a little bit more detail about that. But we ask them what they're experiencing and when it started and all that. So there's a ton of stuff on there. And when they fill that out, they want you to come. They're serious about it. And you usually get those back within a day or less. And the people who don't fill them out, I'll talk to them on the phone all they want, but I won't go unless I get that form because, like you said, we don't charge anything, so I want that form. That's all I'm asking you to give me, and that stays confidential between them and our team. So, if you can't give me that, I can't make a 3 or 4 hour drive out to your house. I'm sorry, or even a 20-minute drive. I can't do it. And I'm asking you for one thing. And a lot of people you find, when people don't fill it out, they usually just want to meet a paranormal team, I've found, I want to see somebody in the paranormal, have them come to my house and investigate and have a party. We ran into that once a long time ago before we used that form, and that's what happened. And
Wow.
it's like, wait, why are there 20 people here? Oh, yeah, we're here to watch you guys investigate. This isn't a party.
No.
You want a party, you're going to pay me for that,
Right.
I'm not here to entertain you. But they thought we were. They thought they were there to entertain them. So watch them try to find the ghosts in the house. I was like, what? I think we actually left. We talked to them for a little bit, and then we left. It's like, can't investigate like this anyway. It's too many. You got too many people. Yeah. So you run into that. I mean, you can run into that.
We had an investigation. We went on the initial interview. Teresa and I did, and when we got there, I guess there was 10 people in the house, and they were all sitting around, had candles on the table and everything, and I just kind of looked at Teresa. I hope we're not having a seance.
Somebody breaking out the Ouija board or what?
Right. So, big, huge, beautiful home, and the actual clients were great people. It was just their neighbors had come over to visit them, and they didn't tell them that they had a paranormal team coming. So we just surprised their neighbors, but they left, and we except for the witnesses that had seen what was going on, but we ended up doing an investigation with them. And we had some good experiences, and I had a couple of bad experiences. But one of my tech guys kind of had an issue for a few weeks afterwards. But I honestly think that was a little bit of his fault. But we got it all taken care of and got it worked out. But so yeah, I kind of know, people want to show up and see all the ghost hunters and as they call them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That kind of aggravates me too.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but occasionally it happens. I mean, but that's why these days, we do some free events where people can come and investigate with us, or talk to us or learn from us, and we give a lecture and a free investigation. We usually try to do that once a year. So it gives people the opportunity to come out and learn, and it's free, so we don't charge them anything for that.
Well,
and
we know when that is.
Yeah, we got a couple of libraries we work with up in Massachusetts, and I think we'll be doing back with one again this year. It went really well. We used to do Fisher College out in Boston. We did that for a lot of years, like 6 years. And they're moving on to some other things right now, but we may end up back there again. We don't know. But that was one of them, So we always post on our website what's going on. But yeah, I post on Facebook what's going on, or let you guys know. And I'll be at coming up here. I'll be doing that at be helping out with night investigation at an event at Selma Mansion in Pennsylvania coming up. That is, I think that's in June. June.
Did you ever get down south?
Yeah, June 9th. June 9th.
June 9th.
Saturday, June 9th.
That's cool.
Through Sunday.
Do you
ever get down where?
Get down south? Down south?
I not so much to investigate, but I will be down at Scarefest in Kentucky again this year. I'll be down there for that. Where are you guys out of? You're out of...
We're in Alabama. We're,
Alabama.
Right down at the floor. Yeah.
Okay. I used to spend quite a bit of time down in Alabama, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Webb, Alabama is where
I used to be down in... I used to go down and have to go down to Anniston, Alabama. Down to Anniston Army Depot. Yeah, not far from Talladega down there. So yeah, I used to spend, because of working for the Department of Defense, I used to spend many years ago a lot of time down in Anniston, Alabama, and got to know quite a few good friends down there for a long time. And so I used to also spend a lot of time in Atlanta as well, down that area. I haven't been down there in a long time, probably about, let me see, probably 7, 8 years now. I love to get back down to investigate down there somewhere.
Well, if you think that you would be even close to us around October 20th, we're actually going to be doing an investigation at Pauley Jail in Union Springs, Alabama.
Okay.
And it's a ghost tour, and we'll have a night investigation and that type of thing. And if you're down this way during that time, by all means, come and join with us.
Yeah, hard to say right now. I never know what's coming up. And October is still kind of open at the moment. I will be, like I said, it's Scarefest, but that's in September. It's September 15th or 14th through the 16th. And then I got Plymouth Paracon the following weekend after that, up in Plymouth, Mass. But October right now, I've got a couple things for October, but yeah, nothing around. I don't think I've got anything on the 20th just yet. Let's see. Yeah, well, we'll have to see what's going on because I never know where I'm going to get invited or what I'm going to get invited to or any of that stuff. So I just, like one day I got nothing, the next day I'm loaded with everything. So, which is nice. It's kind of good. But thank you.
This is an old jail. Anytime. We've actually investigated this. This will be our third year. We have a guest coming. We're having a guest coming that's actually related to someone that perished in the jail.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to a pocket knife and that type of thing, and we're going to kind of use, this might sound bad, but we're going to use him as a trigger object.
Hey, you do what you got to do. If you got to use him as a trigger object, then you got to do it.
He volunteered, okay?
Yeah, once you told him he was, no matter what, right? Yeah, you're a volunteer.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Exactly. So we like to hear that volunteer.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, Trista, do you have some questions? I'm kind of taking over here.
I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, whatever questions you guys got. I mean, I told you I talk a lot, so I can go on about anything. Anything particular you want to know, or?
Trista, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. There she is. Ding! There you go.
That's so funny.
Ranged her back in. Yeah, if you got any questions, anything you want to know, or anything you're curious about, or I'm here to answer. That's what I'm here for. It's all good.
One of the I's and the spirits team stands for the intuition, right?
Yes, yeah. Even I got to look that up usually. It's so long, and it was. I wasn't involved in the creation of it either, but they did a good job in getting the spirits name in there, and it stands for supernatural, paranormal, intuitive. Let me see. I got to look it up. I told you I got to look it up. It's so long. I always do forget. I really do forget. Here we are. Supernatural Paranormal Investigations Research Intuitive Truth Society. Whew, that's a mouthful.
Wow.
Which is why we do call it spirits. So,
right.
Of New England. So yeah, intuitive is in there. Yes, yeah. Intuitive is the second eye in the spirits. And we do have intuitives.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How has your intuition helped you guys whenever you do the investigation?
Well, some of us have a little bit more than intuition these days, but there's a couple of us that expanded our intuitiveness into a larger realm. But it does help. I mean, it's just, you could say, well, you walk into a location and you just get this sense that you're drawn to a certain location within there. And you just got to follow that gut instinct. You follow that intuition, and you head for there. And usually, 9 times out of 10, you'll find that something's different about that room or that spot. And you can tell there's something there. And then even within the room, you might be drawn to a section of the room, and it's like, okay, why am I? And you just got to go with it. I always tell people, trust your instincts, trust that intuition, trust your gut, go with it, because you're probably right. You don't think you are. You try to talk yourself out of it. It's like, oh, well, it's just, it's just whatever. I just drawn to the dark basement, or, because they're cool to investigate. But sometimes there's a reason for that, especially when you start getting into a specific location within the basement, or a specific location in the attic, or a specific location in a room, another part of the building, You just got to trust it and go with it. Or in a jail, you might be drawn to one cell, and it's like, why am I drawn to this one cell? And you can tell there's something different about it, and that's usually tells you there might be some spirit activity going on there, Or
I actually went through that. When we were, the first time that I ever went to Poly Jail was my first investigation ever. And it's actually what got me started with the Web Paranormal group. And Dan was like, go in there and tell me what you find out, just using your intuition. So I was like, okay. And I walked around and I just kept getting pulled back to this one cell like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, I don't know what happened in there, but that's not a good place to be.
Right. Yeah. You can tell something went on there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was different than what went on in the other 50 cells or however many cells there are, and it has happened. And that's why I say, tell people, and that's, so a little bit about what I talk about in my new book too is, trusting your senses, your intuitions. I'm not talking about psychic abilities, but just, I'm drawn there, go there, and and I do that with people when we do events. Like, they're there to do an investigation, they want to learn something, and I ask people, well, who's an investigator? Who isn't? Who's curious? Well, I tell them, well, is there any place here you're drawn to that you'd really like to go check out? And some people say, hey, I want to go over there. Okay, let's go over there. But why? Because you're drawn there. That's why. Let's go over there, And usually I find, people who really have those abilities, they're drawn to the same place as I am, or you'll have 3 or 4 people drawn to the same location, and everybody else just follows you along, right? So, and because some people I don't say they don't have those abilities, they're not in tune with them. I think we all have them. It's just whether we're in tune with them or not, whether we pay attention to it or not. And I can shut that down at times because I don't want to be bothered with it. So I can just shut it right off and ignore everything. And you got to be able to do that too, I think. Otherwise you'll go nuts.
Right.
Well, not necessarily nuts, but I have seen friends of mine who don't know how to shut it off, who got into this, and they have a lot of physical problems now because of it. And it's like, well, it's because you never learned how to shut it off, did you? He said, do what? He said, block it out. You've never learned how to block. Well, no, I didn't know you could. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about that. And we talk about that. We give them some techniques to use, and I say you might find you can feel better once you start doing this. Maybe some of your physical ailments will begin to go away. And it works. It does work. So, but yeah, I love doing that. Like I said, with people at events, because I want to, people are really interested, and they want to see what they can learn. They learn a lot more that way. I make them be interactive at events. Even my own team, I make them work at it too. I mean, we got a couple people on our team that never feel anything, and I'm like, just open up a little bit. Close your eyes. Let's just feel the room. Let's just sit here for a minute. Now I'll start asking them questions. What do you feel? Do you notice anything? Nope. Okay. Relax. Then they start to open up a bit because I know there's something going on and they don't, and I'm like, relax a little bit more. And I said, start to meditate. And all of a sudden they'll say, why did the room just get a little denser? Like heavier. It's like, yeah, okay, now, you're starting to feel it, and, so you work people through it. You can teach them how to get in touch with that. and at least just notice those things. So I like doing that with people. And also, like I said, when we start teaching them that, one of the biggest thing we talk about is how to do spiritual protection, and different techniques for that. Can try to talk them out of just don't go in and start investigating without knowing or having faith in something or belief in something. Because we're dealing with a spiritual realm, right?
Right.
It's a spiritual thing, so you have to have faith in something. Otherwise, anything could attach itself to you.
Right.
You gotta have that strength on your side to just drive it away. So yeah, intuition is a good thing. It can expand to other things once you keep at it for a while. Now, Trista, would you say you're psychic at all now, or
no? Well, I know I'm intuitive and I'm an empath,
okay.
but the intuitive sometimes it's stronger than others, and when it's really strong, it's really on point. Like I don't see things; it's more along the lines of feeling, and then wondering. Why am I feeling this and trying to figure it out?
All
and then that night at the jail, we went through the actual investigation, and they had the camera set up and everything, and they were watching me, and the guys were like, "We kept seeing you go back to that cell," and I'm like, "I know, what the crap happened there?" And the investigation, we found out why, and I was like, "See, that dude's still there."
Right. Well, not every psychic sees things either.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that happens on occasion. I'll see things on occasion, or if I open up to it. But you more or less you can pick up on what somebody's trying to tell you.
Right.
And that sometimes happens when you start getting communication through devices. And you can just start to pick up on there's a train of thought that's coming through, and you're able to pick up on it and what they're trying to tell you. And then once you hit that, you start noticing you're getting more results on these devices. You're getting more interaction. So that can be a form of being a psychic, because you're able to in-tune yourself to what they're trying to tell you, which makes communication much easier, right? Once you know what somebody's trying to tell you, and you may not hear it word for word, but you'll get the sense of, okay, this happened to you or that happened to you, and you can just start following that train of thought. And so, it works a little bit different for everybody. I mean, one thing that happens to me is like if I just let somebody keep talking and I listen to them, I may have a word suddenly start coming through and keep repeating in my head and get louder and louder until I finally tell you. I got to stop you in mid-sentence and tell you what this is. And then once I tell you that, then more information starts coming.
Right.
So that's another type of psychic ability. And I think that comes with meditation and working on your intuitive abilities and embracing those more. And once you start doing that, the other part of the whole, that realm opens up to you, and you get more in touch with your psychic abilities. So like I said, I think we all have them. It's just a matter of whether you get in tune with them or you want to get in tune with them. For a long time I didn't want to, and then I was convinced by a very good friend of mine that I needed to. So especially for what I was doing, with helping clients and things like that. So it works that way. Then you have people who believe they're psychic and they're not even close. Yeah, and they're the ones. They use. Well, I notice usually it's the ones that tout it a lot, especially at investigation things. It's like, oh, I'm psychic and I pick up on this and I can pick up on that. And I say, okay, all right. I don't disbelieve people, but I tell them, okay, they do the same thing. I say, well, where are you drawn to? And they go someplace that's completely off base, from what's really going on. And it's like, oh, I'm drawn way over here, and they start giving you some story about this and that and the other. It's like, it's not even close to the history of this location. Okay, I don't know what maybe you're picking up on something, but it ain't about here. I try not to discourage people. I just go, okay, that's interesting. People want to believe what they want to believe too, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. As long as you're doing it for yourself. When you try to start telling other people, that you can give them readings and things like that, and you're taking money from them, that's a problem, you know.
Have you
If you're not really truly have those abilities, is my point there. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's why I have Trista, because I don't have a psychic bone in my body. I'm a good investigator. I really do a good job at that. I like to think, but I don't have a psychic bone in my body. If I do, I haven't realized.
You may just not realize it, Stan. That's all I can say. Yeah, you know. Well, you know, it's like everything else. It's those who want to get in touch with it and those who don't. I mean, Ellen McNeil, our team founder, my very good friend, and my extended family sister. She say the same thing. I don't have a psychic bone in my body, but once I started getting her more in touch with things by using different types of stones, like black tourmaline, which gives you protection, but it also helps open up. I told her she'd sleep with it on at night and do this. She started having like very realistic dreams about certain things. She started to open up more. She's starting to get more intuitive, you know. So I said, it's there. You just have to, you know, open up to it a bit. But she was always more of the one that's the protector, you know. So she doesn't want anything messing with our team if it's something bad or negative or whatever. So she's more of a blocker, you know. She blocks all that stuff naturally, you know. So, but she's always like, I want to experience more. I said, well, then this is what you got to do. And we've started working on that, and she's opening up more. So, Stan, there's hope for you yet. if you want to do it, Stan, you have to decide you want to do it, though, you know.
Right. Well, I run into things. I feel things sometimes, and I'm totally confused, and I'm like, no, that's not me. So I have my wife, and I have Trista, and I have a couple other people on the team. Okay, y'all deal with this. I'll investigate. And, you know, even Shawana, she's into that too. So, you know, so I don't know if I'll ever reach that point, but I love to investigate. I love to find out things and that type of thing.
Yeah. So with you guys investigating, what's your? Let me go to Stan because I'm curious. What's out of all the equipment you probably have? What's your favorite piece of equipment to use for investigating?
Mine. Probably. Well, I'm real fond of the EVP recorder.
Well, yes.
I've gotten a lot of stuff on there, but I kind of like the K2. Okay. But probably it's got to be the EVP recorder. You know, I like that communication base.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree with that because it's where you're going to get most of your evidence from, really. You know. EVPs is 90% of what I think we typically get, right? So, and with today's stuff, you know, we do the burst sessions. You can listen back, see if you got something right away. You can listen live, you know, and see if you hear something while you're asking your questions.
Yeah.
So, you know, that technology's come a little bit further along. So it's a neat thing, you know, because you know that's where your stuff is. That's where most of it is. If you had do you guys use any old school type of equipment like divining rods or anything?
We have some divining rods. In fact, Miss Shawana, one of our founders, she purchased some, and I've seen my grandfather use them for locating water and stuff like that. Yeah. But I've never used them.
Yeah, you ought to try them.
I've been.
I think those are going to be awesome investigations.
Yeah, well, they're interesting to use. What I've found with them is you can pick up on the type of energy that's coming through them, because the spirit will use its energy to you know respond with them. Right, that's the theory. Right, but you can feel that energy, and what I found it does for me, anyways, it tells me more about what I might be talking to, whether it's being honest. It's just like talking to a person. You can get a sense when that person's standing in front of you if they're BSing you or if they're kind of telling you the truth, by body language or just the energy they're giving off, whatever, and I found that's almost like a way to be standing there in front of them with them in front of you, and you can feel that energy that's being given off, and you can tell when something's BSing you too. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you just feel it. It's just something you can feel, and they are still used today, even by the roads people and stuff like that. Matter of fact, the guys were out here working last summer on my road, and they were trying to find the gas line. And of course, they gave the divining rods to a young guy, and I see him watching through my window. He's keeps walking along, and you'll see it cross, and he's so I went out to him, and I said, because he looked like he wasn't sure what the hell he's doing, right? Or if he thought the guys were playing a joke on him, right? And I'm like, hey, how you doing? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah. I said, you see, you're using divining rods. So he goes, yeah, the guys gave them to me and told me to find the gas line. He goes, I don't know nothing about it. I said, well, I said, let me tell you, okay. You can pick up on the energy from the line, and what it's doing is picking up on the metal line running underneath. And I said, you're on the right track. I could tell you that much. I said, when they told you when it crosses, you're on the line, right? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I know where this line is, right? And I can tell you right now, right, go 10 more feet further. I said, and you're going to hit the cross line that goes over to the neighbors, right? He goes, no. I said, try it and see. He goes, you're gonna follow it right across the road to the neighbor's house. No. He goes, I said, yeah, honest to God, because I knew where the line is, right? I know where the lines are from living here all my life, right? So he walks up about 10 feet and crosses, and I said, all right, now turn to your right. He turns to the right, he starts walking, crosses again. He gets off track, opens up, gets back on track, crossing. He goes, Mr. Kenna, how the hell did you know? I said, well, I've lived here all my life. I know where the actual line is. I said, but see, they do work. I said, these guys aren't bullshit. They actually, they actually still use them to do that. Because I thought they were, playing games with me because I'm the new guy. I said, no, I just want you to learn something. He goes, wow, I appreciate that. So he actually learned that they do work. And it is interesting to watch them. And people say, no, you got to take them with a grain of salt, especially when you're dealing with paranormal stuff. But my point is, Stan, if you try them, just feel the energy that's coming through. What you do is allow the energy to come through your body and come through the rods. You don't allow something to take you over, but you just allow the energy to flow. Okay, there's a difference, and you'll feel that energy. It's kind of weird. It really is kind of weird. Some friends of mine taught me how to use them from out in San Diego. That's another team I'm part of, San Diego Ghost Hunters out in San Diego, California. Long story. But I'm all over the place. East Coast, West Coast, I'm everywhere.
Oh.
But yeah, I like using them on certain cases. They can be helpful and they can be useful, and especially if you get an EVP with responses on those that jive,
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that. And I may message you and ask you for some advice. But,
be possessed. I know nothing. I don't know anything.
Well, guys, it's a little after 8. And we need to take a little bit of a break. And that way everybody can kind of get up and walk around. When we come back, we're going to there's a couple people in the chat room that's got some questions, Jack, if you don't mind answering those when we come back.
Yeah, awesome. Love that.
And, well, Trista, you know the drill. I've got to go to the other room for this. So if you'll lead us out and we'll take a break. And, Jack, I'll be back after the break, okay?
All right.
All right, Trista.
We'll be gone, I don't know, probably 10, 15 minutes, long enough to stretch your legs and get your little walk in and get you some water and go pee if you got to, and we'll holler at you when we get back.
Are you struggling with credit issues? Bad credit keeping you from pursuing all your dreams? Pullman Credit Repair is here and will get you back on top. It does not matter whether you have had any negative marks on your credit report, repossessions, bankruptcies, foreclosures, tax liens, medical bills, student loans. All of these things are negative to your credit report. However, Coleman Credit Recovery can help you and your credit recover in a way that will make you feel like you are back on top of it all. Give Shawana Coleman a call today and find out for yourself how Coleman Credit Recovery can get you back on top of your game. Call today at 334-405-4351. Again, the number is 334-405-4351. The only regret you might have is not calling Coleman Credit Recovery sooner.
Welcome to the Voices Carrier Radio Network.
Do you want to have family portraits made but can't afford the costly photographers out there? Do you want to help someone local grow their business with low-priced, budget-friendly photo shoots? Would you rather have someone who is understanding of what you need in a photo of your family? Want someone who will listen when you have ideas during your photo shoot? Call Trista Yates Photography. We do newborn, senior, family, professional headshots, as well as birthday shoots to celebrate every year of your child's life. Need a holiday photo? One for your Christmas card? Look up Trista Yates Photography on Facebook and give her page a look. Great photos, better pricing. You won't be disappointed. Call Trista Yates Photography at 334-718-8840. Again, 334-718-8840.
Are you looking looking for web design, press releases, blog posts, product descriptions, academic writing to cheat in class, social media marketing, and even logo design. Don't worry, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to list them right here. You need to visit Arden Marketing Enterprises at arden-ent.com. That's ARDEN-ENT.com. Or, if you would like to speak personally to the owner of Arden Marketing Enterprises, call Teresa Fikes at 334-648-1214. Again, Teresa Fikes at 334-648-1214. Get on it.
You're listening to Wiregrass Haunts on the Voices Carry Radio Network. listening to Wiregrass Haunts on the Voices Carry Radio Network.
Jesse is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed, it ain't hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I wanna make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes, and she's loving with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. You know, I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I wanna tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot. Cause she's watching him with those eyes, and she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late at night. You know, I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl? I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman? Where can I find a woman like that? And I'm looking in the mirror all the time, wondering what she don't see in me. I've been funny, I've been cool with the lines. Ain't that the way love's supposed to be? Tell me, where can I find a woman like that? You know, I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I want Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl? I wish that I had Jesse's girl. I want Jesse's girl.
Hey guys, we are back from our break. We got a few bills paid and taken care of. We appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. We've got a great show going on with a wonderful guest, Mr. Jack Kenna. Jack, you still there?
I am still here, yes.
Awesome. So we got some questions in the chat room if you'd be willing to answer them for the listeners.
Absolutely. What do they got?
Hey, guys.
I always love the questions.
Okay. Mashiba Kennan says, what is the strongest feeling you have had on an investigation? Fear or dread or anything else?
Actually, strong, and it just recently happened on an investigation. It was a residential investigation we're still working on. It was a feeling of anger. And it became, we went to this client's home. They were actually experiencing something very negative, which is very rare to run into. But while going through the house, I walk into the master bedroom, and as I walk into there, everybody else was coming in behind me, so I was the first one in. I get a sharp pain in my temple, and then this just very strong feeling of anger. So I'm like asking the client, I said, did something recently happen? Did you guys have like a major, if you and your son have a major fight in here, or argument about it? No, nothing. You sure? Yeah. It got worse and worse as longer I stayed in that room. The more angry it felt, and actually I started to become angry.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to start going off on people here in about 2 seconds. So I realized what was going on, and now I realized what was really going on, which is that thing was impacting me, whatever this thing is. And I said, I got to step out of this room. I said, just excuse me, I got to walk out. And I walked out of the room and immediately felt fine once I left that room. So, that was very intense. Like I said, to the point where I was getting angry at everybody else for no reason. No reason. We're just taking a tour of the house, right? So that's how you as an investigator, you got to realize at some point what's happening, what's going on. You got to remove yourself from it, before it gets to a point, where you are actually going off on people for no good reason. So
Okay.
whatever this thing was, then it was affecting me. So, and then I'll tell you this: people get a laugh out of this, but this is what I saw. Right after that, we decided to go down to the basement, and I'm going to set up equipment down there because client had seen things down there. And so I come down the stairs, and the lights are all on in the basement because we turned everything on because we're going to set up equipment. And I turn the corner, and there's a doorway at the other end of the basement leads into another section of it. And there's this thing kind of peeking out from the doorway, and the only way I can describe it, it looked like a gingerbread man.
Oh, wow.
Rounded head, rounded arm, part of the straight body, and it's peeking out. And the minute I saw this thing straight on, no corner of the eye. No, I saw this thing straight on. And it's like, remember, it's all bright down there. It's all lit up. This thing was an absence of light. It was pitch black, but it was just looked like a gingerbread man. It's the only way to describe it. And it shot like a dart when it saw me, and I went running after it. And of course, you get there, there's nothing there. But yeah, so I really believe that's really something that's demonic that's going on there. And, we're still working that case. So, but that was interesting. And that was the most intense feeling I ever had, a feeling of anger. Intense.
Wow.
Yeah. Next question.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those don't happen too often. And like I said, as an investigator, you got to realize what's going on. And one of our investigators who came down the basement with me later on, we're finishing setting stuff up, she started to get extremely scared. And I walked her in. She actually had a burn. I felt a burning sensation in the back of her neck. She ended up with a mark, but she had a burning sensation in the back of her neck. And I walked her out of there. I got her out of there. But
Wow.
I'm like really afraid. We talked about, I sat her down upstairs. I talked to her. I said, "You realize what was going on there, don't you?" She goes, "No, I don't know why I was so scared." I said, "That was whatever this is, putting those feelings onto you.
Right.
That's not your own fear. You really weren't afraid. You were feeling what this thing wanted you to feel. It was projecting that onto you, just like it was projecting the anger onto me. Whether that's its own feelings or it's just trying to make you afraid or make you angry or whatever to get you to leave. That's what they do. And that's, as an investigator, what you got to be constantly aware of, what's happening around you and what's happening to you sometimes.
Right.
So to kind of squash it before it gets too far,
Right. Miss Shawana Coleman says, "I missed some of the first questions, but can Jack tell us about his worst case?"
Yeah, right now I think that is my worst case.
I can imagine. Look, Stan, if I ever see a gingerbread man, I'm leaving. I'm telling you now.
Oh, get the milk.
Hey,
You got to run after him with the milk. Come here, I'm going to get you son of a gun.
You'll have to follow me out the door.
I'm getting the milk. I don't care. Yeah, I'm getting
That's
the milk.
right.
Get chase him the other way. I'm getting my
Have you
milk.
ever
I'm
had
coming
any-
after you.
Have you ever had any of your members just look at you like dead in the face and say, "Jack, we need to get the hell out of here now"?
No, but there has been times where I've said to them, we really need to be careful. Again, I'm probably the most intuitive, psychic individual on the team at this point. So there's just times when I can just tell, I say, we never leave a case. I mean, I really don't want to leave a case unless I absolutely, positively have to. Because you're there to try to help these people. And if you walk out on them, who's going to help them? You know? So I do push it to the limits. But there is time, like with Sarah getting, those feelings of total fear down the basement. I walked her out of there. And I walked her upstairs and I said, "I don't want you coming back down there," and so she stayed upstairs with her mother investigating up there, and Sharon came down with me, and Sharon didn't have any problems. So, you just got to watch these things. Some people you got to take out of a situation. Some people you got to switch them out and bring another one down. So, and you just got to watch. You got to watch what you're doing. I think as long as you're constantly aware of what you're doing and watch what's going on and keep in touch, through your radios or whatever, things will be okay. But, when you're dealing with a client, I hate to walk out. The only time I think I would is if I was dealing with a real true possession of an individual, or I may not bring my team, but I know demonologists, real demonologists who have been doing this for over 30 years. So I would probably contact them, and I would probably want to go along with them to assist them, because I want to learn more. I'm at a point I want to learn more. So, but I would turn it over to somebody who knows better, and I would pull our team out. But I wouldn't leave them hanging. I know these people, and they said, if you ever run across one, contact us. We will take the case. We'll take, because they know me, so they would take it over. But I would probably want to at least assist to be able to learn more myself personally. So, but that hasn't happened yet. No, I haven't run into that yet. No.
Okay.
Wow. Hey, Trista, did you see in the chat room where Miss Kennon's is having an issue now with their lights cutting on and off?
I did.
That's Jack. It seems like she has some paranormal activity maybe going on at her house.
Pay the bill. Pay the bill. No, I'm only kidding. I got to throw a little light. I got to throw a little light levity into it, because I never want people to freak out. I mean, it's possible she's got. I mean, if it's just happening, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm not there, right? We're not there, so we don't know what's really going on. But it's maybe it's a brownout. I mean, check with the first thing I would do, check with your local electric company, see what's going on. Things like that.
It's become a normal thing, and she's kind of learned to live with it.
Well, the other thing I would do is, if your lights are really flickering all the time, you may want to have an electrician come in and check some things out, because it may not be what you think it is. It could be something wrong with the electric or with the power box. You don't know. You want to get those things checked just to be on the safe side, because if something was to really go wrong, you end up with a fire.
Right. It's better
don't just assume just don't assume it's something paranormal. You could have something regular going on there that you need to have checked out. And if you're renting, get a hold of the landlord. Have them check it out. She
said that electrician already came, no problem.
Okay, good. All right, good. Then it's possible. It's possible it's something else. The question would be, what else is going on besides that? What else is going on that would make her think it's paranormal? Is it just lights flickering? I don't know. Is there something else besides that going on? There very well could be. It's one of those things. You're not directly talking to the person, but the more you find out, the more it's a possibility. It's good that she had an electrician check it out and everything's fine. You want to know that. That's definitely something you want to know, and that's good that she did that. But it's who's to know? Who's if it is paranormal, it could be. Could be something the electrician missed too. Who knows?
Kind of like we were talking about. Right. Yeah, it could. It's kind of like we were talking about with
house. You see the skeptic side of me coming out. The skeptic side of me coming out. But this is what makes a good investigator. It is what makes a good investigator. Look for the other possibilities first. Roll them out, and go from there.
Right.
And what else? And again, not that she maybe isn't having something going on there, but what else is happening that makes her think it really is paranormal? Is she seeing shadow figures in the home? Is she hearing voices in the home? What else is going on? What else is happening? That's the stuff you don't know yet that you got to try to find out. And always willing to talk to people, try to sort it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, she says she has cabinets closed and open by themselves.
It's interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, if they open and close on their own, that's interesting. Sometimes this cabinet's opening on their own could be like what you ran into the one location with the trucks going by on the road. You get the vibration, it opens. The fact that they open and close, that's odd. That's odd. Cabinets don't typically close on their own. I wish they did sometimes, but there's a potential answer to that. Put magnets on all of them.
Yeah,
It's a little harder for them to open. The reason I say that is I got a drawer that, because of the way the cabinet sits, it just slides slowly on its own because it's at an angle. So I finally I connected a little metal strip and magnet into the drawer, and now it doesn't do it anymore. So, problem solved. And it was easier than trying to level the floor underneath. So I was like, nah.
Terry Todd's in the chat room, and he said that someone needs to start an investigation. Well, Miss Kennan, if you need an investigation, you contact us, and we'll help you in every way we can. That's just kind of putting it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you do think you got something going on, reach out to, like you guys, a local paranormal team. Reach out to somebody who's near you. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there. There's some that aren't, but, and people who reach out to me from other states, I usually try to find them somebody who's local to them that can help them out. Right. So, I'll do a little research to try to find them a decent team, I do that too. So, I don't leave people in a lurch. If they're looking for help, I'll try to help them find it, because I can't always travel to Georgia or Alabama or Virginia or wherever to go do an investigation. I'm not that rich. And the TV shows aren't paying me to do it either. So,
right.
Yeah. So, but I always, if nobody else who knows who to turn to, but it's good that you guys offered. There, she's gotten in now, and but somebody else needs help someplace else. Reach out, and we'll try to find somebody who can help you.
And of course, if for some reason we can't do something, or we don't know how to do something, or whatever, we will find somebody that does. And that's just part of, because this is a field that you learn from every day. There's no experts, and we every time we investigate, I learn something new, and learn some do's and some don'ts. Trust me, there was a lot of don'ts.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Yeah, especially with Paulie Jail, there was a lot of don'ts.
Yeah.
My very first time, I almost walked out of the jail a couple of times, but I managed to muster up strength to stay in. But
remember one thing when you're investigating jails and you're talking to spirits that are there. Everybody's innocent, right?
Right.
Everybody's innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. So if you ask them a question about maybe what they were there for, you ask them, say, "What were you accused of doing?" Because I know you're innocent. So what did they accuse you of? Not you don't say, "What were you guilty of?" Because they weren't guilty. I'm not guilty. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not guilty. I know you're innocent. What did they accuse you of?
Right.
Or they'll close a cell door on you.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I know somebody that happened to too. A prison up this way. So, old prison up this way. They got locked into it. Yep. Yeah, right. They had to go. They actually had to go someplace else to get the key.
I meant to ask you on our first segment, what do you think of Ouija board use? Do you?
I don't use them. I recommend people who try to use them to stop using them. There is people I know who know the proper way to use them. They do a lot of prayer before. They use a lot of positive energy during it. These people are learned as young ages how to. They were just in groups and families that worked in the spiritual realm, so they know how to control what's allowed to come through those boards and how to close those sessions. Most of us don't. I mean, I get an understanding of it, but I won't mess with them. I know how to seal them, so you can't use them again. I did learn about that and how to close the session before you do that, so whatever was in there, can go back into the board. But no, don't mess with them. Don't use them. You don't know what it's really no different than using a K2 or any of this other equipment. Okay, you don't know what you're talking to. you really don't know what you're talking to. I mean, and you're asking for responses, you're asking questions, but it's also all about intent. What's your intent of doing this? I mean, for us as investigators, it's to try to find answers. It's to try to find out the truth for what's really going on and try to help somebody. Other people who just want to use it, they're either trying to desperately try to contact a loved one who passed away, or they're doing it for fun, or they're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? They want to conjure something, because I want to see a demon or a spirit or what. Yeah, well, you know what you're asking for. You really don't know what you're asking for there, and you're not going to like it once you get it. So stay away from them, and that's the truth about paranormal investigating. Unless you really want to learn how to do it properly, don't try to do it on your own. Go to an event. Yes, go to events. Learn from, people who are much more experienced than yourself, because those are typically done at safe locations. They're not using Ouija boards. The intent is not to just conjure something up. It's to try to talk with something they know is already there, or, a spirit of somebody who they know is already there. It's different, it's a different setting. I don't stay away from the Ouija boards, or anything for that matter. Don't ever try to talk to something in your own home.
Right.
Because you don't know what you're talking to, and you may have nothing in your home, but if you try to open that door, it could come from anywhere. And now you've got something in your home that you never had before. Right.
Yep.
Wow.
So I tell people that too. Never investigate your own home. Never. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. And you're just asking for trouble. It's a spiritual realm. Again, it goes back to it being a spiritual realm, and you just don't know what you're talking to. So you got to be careful.
Right. Well,
yeah. I've helped people with Ouija boards problems, so,
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the Ouija board, I've known people to use them. A bunch of them used them and had no issues whatsoever.
Right.
But there was one, and she was terrified night after night after night.
Yeah.
And she never, ever, ever got rid of it.
No, you may not. No,
and as far as I know, I haven't spoken to her in years, ever since high school. But she just tormented every night, every day of her life. So I tell people, don't fool with that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might think they know how to do this and this and this and this. I would rather not take the chance. I mean, I've seen too much.
Right. And if you're gonna, if you want to learn about that, I mean, there's places and people to learn it from who really know. I mean, you can go to places like up by us in New York. There's what's the big spiritual place up there? Western New York. Shucks, it skipped my mind. Anyways, there's places you can go where that's all they deal with. There's spiritual locations, there's spiritual groups, they run it. They've been doing this, that's what they do, communication with the dead and things like that, and psychic abilities and all that. Lilydale. Yeah, my wife just yelled me the name because I couldn't remember. Lilydale, New York, in the area of Lilydale, the community of Lilydale. They teach you all that up there, and that's if you really want to, learn from people, or have, readings done, things like that. Go to those people who go to those things, and have a lot of experience. Tim Shaw, grew up in Lilydale. His family actually lived inside Lilydale back in the day. You probably know who Tim Shaw is, right? So very well known in the paranormal community. So, I mean, he works with Ouija boards, but he knows what he's doing too. And people pick on him for it, but he knows what he's doing. He grew up around that, and he's never had any issues because of growing up around it and learning the proper way, and it's hard for people. I mean, I understand why they do it, especially people who lost somebody. And that was a client we dealt with who lost her husband and her son a short time apart. And, of course, it's devastating. So she was trying to reach out to them through the spirit board. And, you know, and things were fine while she did it in her home, but then she brought it to a place up in Maine at a friend's cabin, and they ran into something really negative, and they never ended the session. They just closed up the board, threw it in her car, and she brought it home, and she brought that thing home with her.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to go help her to resolve that, which we did, you know, and actually I believe her spirits of her husband and her son also helped resolve it, to be honest with you. I think because we asked them to be involved with helping to resolve it. And, you know, her husband came to her one night shortly after we were there and said, look, he took care of this. You're not going to have to worry about anything anymore, but I have to go. He goes, and you were not going to see me again? He goes, and don't try to reach out to me again. This came to her in her dream. It was a very vivid dream, which tells me it's not really a dream. Right. And he goes, but I'm gonna leave. He goes, but when your time comes, I'll be there for you. And then she said he walked out her bedroom door, and she hasn't dreamt about him since.
Wow.
So, you know, I truly believe that particular spirit helped us to resolve that issue, you know, and get whatever it was the heck out of there. And I sealed that board on her. I closed the session, sealed it, you know, and gave it to her one daughter who said she didn't like her playing with it anyway. I said, good, get it out of the house. I told her, I said, don't go buying another one either. You know,
right.
So, and she's been fine ever since. She hasn't reached out again, and I think it's because her husband came to her in that dream, that vision, I would call it really, and she realized, okay, I don't need to do that anymore, you know, and things have been quiet ever since. They've been fine.
But that's
so
one
you
of the things
you can resolve it, but you've got to go about it the right way.
Right.
You know, all the kids and stuff that have the access to that board, and they sell it at Walmart for $8 or whatever, you know, and they're going to buy it, take it home, and play with it like a game. Okay, you know,
I did when I was a kid. I'll be honest. Did when I was a kid too. You know, me and my sister. Yeah, we did it too. I still got one. I don't use it, but it's there. I have it. You know. But I think a lot of us did, you know, because we didn't know. We didn't know. Our parents didn't really know. You know, it wasn't well talked about in those days. I thought it was a game. You know, oh yeah, you're trying to call on the spirits, yeah, whatever. You know, we didn't really think about it then. You didn't talk about it then, like we do now either.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, my mom told me they were evil, so I never actually owned one until I got up to be older and got into things that I hadn't ought to. But
yeah.
You know.
My sisters really wanted one, and my mother was like, she told my father, those things are terrible, whatever, and he goes, whatever. Yeah, he bought one for him, gave it to her for Christmas. Yeah, and we used it a few times. I don't remember anything really happening either. We scared each other a couple times or whatever. And I think we used it maybe 2 or 3 times. That was it. You know, usually when their girlfriends were over for, you know, slumber parties or whatever. And I was the youngest. I was the little kid. So it was like, let's get in here to, you know, he's the bait or whatever, you know, whatever. I think they were trying to more scare me than anything else, you know. So, I mean, God, the worst thing I think I ever experienced as a kid was going to see The Exorcist, you know.
Right.
At a drive-in with my parents because my father really wanted to see it, you know. I was like, oh boy, you know, that was rough. I had nightmares for 2 weeks after that thing was over.
Right.
Yeah, that was a rough movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was little. I was a little kid when that. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even watch the movie after a while. I just closed my eyes and lay in the back seat of the car. Oh yeah, it scared the heck out of me, you know. Of course, and I did peek just as she was vomiting on the priest, so you know, I was like, oh no. Then you peek just as the head turns around, you know, I was like, oh no, the dead part.
Yeah, when her head spun around, that was it for me. Okay, you know.
The creepiest thing about that movie was eyes. That's the only thing that ever got me was as long as I didn't look in her eyes, I was good. Yeah. But if I looked in her eyes, I had the living crap scared out of me. I couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah. You know, that movie to this is still pretty well done, actually. You can watch that movie today. It's the special effects that were in it still can stand today, you know. because they weren't like today's type of special effects. They were actually had to make it up and do it, and the dresser flying across the room and all that. I mean, that stuff sometimes can happen in those type of hauntings. So, it's still interesting to watch to this day. It's still a very interesting and good movie. I still love it. I don't get scared to death of it anymore. Even though maybe I should. Although maybe I should. I don't know.
Well, I think back to childhood. So like, wait a minute, her head. I know how I felt when her head spun around the first time.
Yeah.
And when people say, well, she's possessed or this person's possessed. And that's honestly, that's the first thing I think about. Okay, is her head going to spin around?
Yeah, she's going to start doing those things like in that movie. I mean, that's what we think of a possession as, too, a lot of times, and it's not necessarily that, It can.
And a lot of times you don't even know it.
Well, the person who's possessed doesn't know it. That's why I always kind of shrug my shoulders when somebody contacts me and says, I'm possessed with a demon. Uh-huh. Okay. Because you wouldn't know it if you were. And I tell them that. I said, you wouldn't know it if you were. You wouldn't know what was going on. You wouldn't even realize it because it doesn't want you to know. I said, maybe you're suffering an oppression, or, the beginnings of it. But if you were actually possessed, demons don't let you know they're possessing you. Right. You'll see a change in attitude in that person. You'll see a change in they're angry a lot. And they won't even be able to explain to you why, they're just angry a lot. And that's part of what was happening in this one client's case we're still working on, son's attitude once they moved in started to completely change in a very short period of time. So, those are the things you got to watch for, in certain cases. But if you're possessed, you don't know you're possessed. You can't tell me you're possessed because you don't know it.
Right.
So, but other people will notice, and that's how it starts,
Yeah, we just had a incident where a lady called us and said that she was possessed and she had 21 demons running around her house and
21 of them.
That type of thing. 21 of them, exactly.
So able to count them. Okay, good.
Right. And she was showing us sending pictures of all kinds of marks on her body and stuff like that. And honestly, you can tell they were drawn with an ink pen and, and of course, with a little bit of research, I actually went and interviewed the lady. And with a little bit of research, we found out that she had a habit. And that was the biggest possession she had. So
and that can actually, those things like that can lead to demonic possession. I mean, technically, she could be under an oppression, and that's what's leading her to do the things she's doing. I mean, that's people don't always just start drugs for no reason, and I kind of believe that a little bit with regards to how demons try to affect people or impact people's lives. And I'm Roman Catholic, so I will say, Pope Francis, a lot of people may not realize it, however, he's an exorcist. And that's a lot of the work that he did down in Rio and stuff when he was down there was dealing with people who were suffering oppression and possession, and a lot of them were on drugs. Their just personalities began to change, and they get addicted to drugs, and it's all these things that these things try to make you to do to take your own life in the end. That's the purpose, is to try to get you to take your own life. So, but it's a process. It's like anything else. It begins a certain way, and they actually feel now they've added a segment to that, which is they used to start off with depression, and then it'd go to like oppression. But now they've added another sign of it can be obsession. You're
Right.
obsessed with something. It can start with obsession. Whether it's you're obsessed with, watching movies all the time, or you're obsessed with an individual, or you're obsessed with collecting dolls, or you're obsessed with collecting paper clips, whatever it is, but you have an obsession, and that's how it begins. And it's usually an unusual obsession, and that can be a sign of a demonic presence working on an individual. But there's more to it than that. But that can be how it slowly begins. So you do a little reading, I guess, huh? And a little research. Yeah, but I never just people who are into drugs and all that. It gets to a point you can't help them at that point. They have to try to help themselves. You can try to convince them to get help, but there's not too much you can do. You can try to point them in the right direction. And I've noticed that with cases, when we get those forms back, there's always an underlying, and I'll tell you, this is in every single case. There's an underlying theme of these people experienced something in their childhood that was extremely traumatic, that maybe went on for a while, and that they've never dealt with. They've never talked to anybody about, they never went to counseling for. And these are really bad things. We're talking rape. We're talking, drug addiction. We're talking, a lot of things, right? And, they maybe got over the drug addiction, but it still drags them down. And they got to go to counseling. But I have noticed that hauntings are attracted to this negative energy that's still being exuded by these people because they haven't dealt with their issues. And that's one thing you can start to begin to help them to do, but not just by listening sometimes, but by pointing them in the right direction, and saying, I'll tell you this. This is what scares people. When I go into a case and I tell people, we figured out, you have a haunting going on. But the biggest part of this scares them more than having the ghost, is you have to be an active participant in resolving your haunting. And they look at you and go, what does that mean? It means you have to do something. What? I thought you could come in, wave the magic wand, and make it all go away. No, it doesn't work that way. No. And it scares them too because it scares them too because it's like, this could take a while to get resolved. It's not going to disappear in a week. It's not going to disappear in a day. This could take months, years. That scares them too. It's like, well, this is what we're dealing with. But if you follow what we tell you, you do what we suggest, the recommendations we give, things will be fine. We're not leaving. We're going to be here. So, and some of those recommendations are go talk to your physician. Go talk to, try to get some help to deal with these issues you've never dealt with. Because that's one thing people will do. They'll tell us, strangers, things they never tell anybody else.
Yeah.
Because we're not related to them, right? So they can tell us anything, Hey,
Jack, I have a question.
Yeah. Said you got a question?
Actually, it's in the chat room.
Okay.
Mr. Darren Wedlock. His question is, what would Jack say to people that believe all ghosts are demons?
I would say people believe all ghosts are demons. I would say, I would just say first that's not true. Just based on my own experiences, personal experiences, and direct experience with things that are out there. That's not to say there's not demonic things out there. But keep an open mind and look at other possibilities. We all have souls. We believe we have a soul. We believe when we pass on, that soul either goes to heaven or hell, depending on our lifestyles or what our beliefs were, or whatever. But it's also known and believed that God gave us free will, right? And I believe you still have that free will at the moment you pass on, and you have the choice to either stay or go, or cross over. Either, some people could say face judgment or, hang out and stay where you are. And I believe some of the cases we come across are very negative spirits but these people were negative people in life. And even though you maybe didn't believe in heaven and hell, you knew about it. You can't not live in this world and not know about it unless you're out in the middle of the South America jungle somewhere. Then you have your own beliefs, right? But my point is, a typical person knows about those things, and they may choose, I was so terrible, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying right here. And I'm going to make everybody else's life still miserable anyway. Because you haven't crossed over, you haven't changed, you're still who you are. I don't think until you cross over, you don't change, you don't lose that baggage. So you're still who you are, and you're still here. And if you were negative in life, you're negative still in death until you make that transition. And does everybody go to hell? I don't think everybody does, even if sometimes you're extremely bad. I mean, you may have to serve some time somewhere, but I don't know. But none of us are going to know until we get there, right? So it's all theory, and it's all what you believe. It's all what you believe. But I don't think everything is demonic. I've run into some very good spirits that have actually helped on investigations. So you can't tell me those were evil. They helped us resolve something. I don't think something evil would do that. Some people might say, well, it's trying to trick you. Yeah, well, it was on the one location and one investigation. So how did it try to trick me? No, I don't believe everything's demonic. And again, I don't know if I'd answer Dan's question, but I guess, ultimately I would say just try to keep an open mind that there are other more positive things out there. You believe in angels. Angels are among us too, just like demons are.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I agree. Real quick, we got 6 minutes left, but real quick, I wanted to ask you about the Salem Paracon that you went to. How did that come out? Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was an excellent little Paracon. A lot of good people there. Grant Wilson was there, who I hadn't seen in years, and so we got to chat again. We hadn't talked in a while, so we were good to see each other. And met Nick Gruff for the first time. Awesome guy. I always liked what he does in his work. And just a ton of friends there. I mean, just met a ton of friends there who I see at all the different ones every few months and stuff anyway. But yeah, it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. I got a little crazy with a wig and a guitar while I was there, but there's been posting. Yeah, you may have seen postings about that. So, but it's okay. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was good times. And my buddy Sam Beltrusis was there. He's a psychic and investigator, and he's been on a couple shows and stuff himself. And he's doing his Plymouth Paracon this year. We'll be at, and then the next event we're coming at will be in roughly less than 2 weeks. We'll be down in we'll be down in. My God, my mind keeps going blank. Let me do this quick. I'll be down in Harpers Ferry, Virginia, on May 12th for their Paracon they're doing. It's the Harpers Ferry Paranormal Gathering, 760 Fillmore Street down at Harpers Ferry. So we'll be there on the 12th. Just nice open day event. It's all outside. I think we'll be doing lectures. I'll be doing a lecture there and stuff. So just open air, probably more a Q&A than anything else, because it's just an open air lecture type of thing. So we'll be talking about shows and the paranormal and kind of things that we were just talking about. So if anybody's nearby wants to come out to that, come on over. We're going to be down there. I'll be down there with my Extreme Paranormal Encounter Response team I'm part of up here. So we're all going down. So Steve Coles, who's the Squatch detective, a Bigfoot guy. He's also a demonologist, by the way. He'll be there. And Michelle Wagner, who's a psychic medium, will be there. And Tom Conwell, who's a ufologist, will be there. And we're all on this one team. So, yeah, we'll all be down there talking, and I'll have my book down there, and the Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons one. The other one won't be still out for, like I said, another about 6 weeks. It'll start hitting the stores, and I'll be able to start bringing it to shows and stuff like that. And that's the Paranormal Research book. Both are still currently available on Amazon.com. The Paranormal Research is available for pre-order. So But yeah, everything's going good. We're doing good. I'm actually working on a new book now too, so I'm working on a third book right now too.
That's cool. Real quick, I have one more question in the chat room. Miss Shawana Coleman wants to know, how does your family feel about what you do?
Well, they think it's, well, I guess they think it's kind of cool. My wife occasionally goes on investigations with us. She's into all the metaphysical stuff and spiritual stuff too. So they think it's great. My kids think it's fantastic. They were shocked the first time they saw me on TV. Their friends think it's cool. Their dad's on TV. But what they really like is, I've written 2 books now, and I really wrote those books more for them than really anything else. You don't make a lot of money at book sales unless they turn your book into a movie or something. So
Right.
That could be tough.
You never know. I don't wait for it to happen though. But I really wrote them for my kids, so someday they can show them to their kids and their grandkids and all that, and they can talk about the crazy old man who used to hunt ghosts, and started to talk to things in the dark that weren't there, And they'll go. I always bug them. I say, you'll tell them, we had, your great grandfather, used to hunt ghosts. When they were, before we proved they weren't real, But he always thought he was talking to something. But science has proved they're not real. So whatever. Yeah, but it's kind of cool because it's a legacy you leave behind. And it's a way for your family to remember you. And that's mostly what I really wrote them for, was for that. But everything that's in my books, I truly believe. And I really enjoyed writing that Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons. So I hope you do enjoy it. It's a passion. Right? It's a passion. So, the whole thing, all of it's a passion to me. Helping people, the paranormal, the shows, it's just something I'm passionate about that helps to reach out to people and try to help them.
9 o'clock.
Right. Awesome. That's great. And Jack, we want to thank you so much for being our guest tonight. You have been an awesome guest. We definitely want you to come back, especially when your other book comes out. You can tell us about it.
Yeah.
And maybe some more stuff that you're getting into, because I know you're going to get into some more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
But the honor's mine. Thank you for having me on the show. It was a true honor, and I really enjoyed it. You guys are awesome.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. And I want to let everybody know that thank you for listening to Wiregrass Haunts on Voices Carry Radio Network. Voices Carry is growing. We have shows on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesday, and Thursday night. And we got some more shows coming in the future. Monday night is Sweet Freakins with Heather Marie and Mystery. Tuesday night, of course, is Wiregrass Haunts with Stan and Trista. Wednesday night is Voices Carry with Terry Todd and Mary Curion. And Thursday night is Mysteries Explained with Becky Guidison and Dave Clark. Y'all please come tune in. We get to be on Mysteries Explained. Web Paranormal Group does Thursday night. We're just stoked about that Becky and Dave is going to talk to us on there, and maybe we get to be on the other end of the thing. So we really appreciate everybody for listening. And again, I want to thank Jack Kenna for being an awesome guest, and Trista, you have been awesome tonight as well, and I'm going to give you a job. Is that okay?
Yeah, I reckon.
All right. Well, I've got to go in the other room, and I want you to head us out and say what you want to say. And Jack, brother, thank you, and I'll be in contact, okay?
All right. My pleasure. Yes, please.
And we'll shoot you our address so you can send us that book. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, we'll get that out to you right away.
All right. Trista, if you'll lead us out.
Alrighty. The book that Stan was talking about is the next drawing for the tickets to Paracon. Mr. Jack is going to send us an autographed copy of his book, so you will win that along with the Paracon tickets. So be sure to listen. You win the trivia, you get the book, you get the tickets. It's going to be all around good thing. We appreciate y'all listening with us tonight. Mr. Jack, we really, really appreciate you being here with us. Y'all have a good night. We love y'all. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
This has been a production of the Voices Carry Radio Network.